specifically want to talk about Tri-Magi a little bit.
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Tri-Magi. Jeez. Crazy.
Which I love that record you put out a lot.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah.
It's a great record. That was a record that was recorded in 2021. Tri-Magi was, and it was up in at the Earthworks Farm in Lake City. And my the Lasso was the main producer, for his record, and then he brought us in to add to the sound. So Jared and I ended up, working on a lot of on all the songs, writing the songs, writing the melodies. Lasso's kind of formatting these melodies and putting them right there, boom, boom, boom. And it kind of works like the way that Lasso works is very much like live production, or like a live performance just with production. And so a lot of these melodies that we do are like our first takes. Just it's like we hear some things like, oh, do that. All right, do that. All right. And then we're like, oh, put this there, boom, boom. And then we switch it and like, oh, this, And that happened in the weekend of the insurrection. So like January 6th, I think was when it happened. That day, we were just driving up to the Earthworks Farm. And, it's not too much service, not looking at our phones, but then something's going on. We're like, yo, this is crazy. What's going on here? And we looked and see all that going on. And then the first song we made there was Born Tempo. Lasso had like maybe 4 or 5 drums ready to go. And we just added melodies on top of it, slept in a little cabin. It was like 8 degrees, and we had to pee and poop in a porta potty. We had bought some pizzas and stuff and everything from the nearby grocery store and just camped there for a week. Wood fire stove. Yeah. It was a vibe. It was great. And then Lasso took that, mixed it down, put finishing touches on it, and released the record. I think in May or something like that. And we did a release party for that as well. That was fun. And that's Tri-Magi. Then it got picked up on like the Jazztronica playlist and a few other playlists and got a lot of traction. But that's an instrumental record that I love. Yeah.
There's like, even just seeing some of that in a live setting at UPS the other week.
Yeah.
I really loved hearing that going through
the speakers.
A sound system.
It's insane, right?
Yeah.
It's insane.
And filling a room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
Right? It's great.
There's parts of it where kind of like that vocal comes through that's kind of screaming.
Shake it all around. Look out! And that was cool. That was
Where did that come from?
That was me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All those vocals aren't me. I just kind of went. I did that exact thing. I just like layered it and stuff. That's that was me. I was doing weird. I like that's how I like the vocals to be used. I like the vocals as an instrument, right? Not always just like a word or a storyteller, but like listen to the instrument of the voice, and it can still express a story. Like, who knows? I wasn't actually saying look out, but now when I listen back at it, I was like, oh, look out, look out. And you put your own words to it. I like that type of stuff.
I feel like when kind of going through your discography a bit, I'm like, okay, you're using lyrics and spoken word like pretty consistently
Yeah.
at this point. I guess I'd have some questions about like where in your music do you hold lyrics and lyricism of value to you? Like, I guess, is it more, how intentional are the lyrics?
Very intentional because I don't want to say too much. So whenever I do say, I'm like, all right, I'm fine with hearing this forever. Because, you know, another thing, which is not, I shouldn't really admit this stuff, but it's like, I'm not trying to like hear my voice all the time, right? I mean, in a way, I'm like my favorite cellist, but also I like listening, not outputting, right? But I also do love outputting, right? So, but I get a lot of like satisfaction just from like listening. So, the main thing, I'm not really trying to just put lyrics on every song that I put out. I'm not trying to put out random things. So if it comes out, it's like, all right, I listened to this a ton of times, and I'm still feeling good about it. Like I find joy from listening to it, and I want other people to maybe find a meaning for it in their lives. But when I do lyrics too, I like on My Thoughts Are, that's probably the most like lyrics that I have on an album just through and through. And that was because that's the album. Like My Thoughts Are. Like these are my thoughts. And I knew people like maybe want to get to know me a little better. And or like understand like word wise how I would, you know, think. And My Thoughts Are, that's like that experiment. Here's what the brain sounds like. Here's what my brain or my ego would sound like. And then vibrations is kind of a thing. It's like, okay, yes, I'm thinking in words, but also I think words do not always hit an expressive type of thing. Like you can't really express yourself fully with just words. It can't happen. Although people can express themselves very fluidly with words and in a very full way. There's some people that work with words better than others, like the speakers or poets or with all the things. But I think there's still an inherent meaning to life that you can only experience by experiencing it, right? By seeing it, by like feeling it with your senses, and you can't describe it. Like, I think that's a very true thing in life, and we all do experience something like, oh, you just had to be there. I can't tell you, you just had to be there. We all go through life at a point, and we say that. And so, to me, and this is also going back to like my classical training where they maybe beat it into me. But I was inspired. It's like I love that some of the symphonies have meanings behind it, but I love that it has no words, and I was able to put my own symphonic meaning into the piece. And I love that. And so sometimes when I'm writing words, I'm writing for that intent. Like the words in Wisdom Crow, like Wisdom Crow, wise from old, laced with gold our silver line is, broke from hope, warm from cold. Wisdom Crow can't show, won't know if. And then it starts over. Wisdom Crow, wise from old, laced with. So it's like these things are like, I'm really inspired by the Tao poems too. And it's like, okay, yeah, Wisdom Crow. It's talking about a Wisdom Crow wise from old. You can take the literal meaning of that, but then you can put in so much into that. Like it can apply to so many different areas in your life. Wisdom Crow, wise from old. Oh, how old do crows get? Wait, why is this a Wisdom Crow? Why is it wise? Oh, wise from old. Laced with gold our silver line is. And it's like, gold, silver line. And it's like these things like you can, it's kind of saying something and it's not saying the thing directly. And to me that is like the top level of words. because we're all having different experiences and the same experience at the same time. So how do you how do you clearly define that? Like, we know truth is here and it's not there. We know, like, other people exist and the only thing we've ever experienced is our own life. Like, how do you represent that? It's such a wild experience. And then how do words capture that? Especially when you have other languages. So when someone's listening to my music that doesn't speak English, can they still feel a meaning, the same meaning from it, right? And so I try and have the words kind of ride on top of the sounds that are happening. And I know that probably a lot of artists do too. And if it doesn't, like if someone just gets a completely different meaning, I'm fine with that too. So that is how I think about words. Not the most straightforward answer. It's not a clear answer either. So, yeah.
I wouldn't mind talking about like music as a form of connection.
Right.
Because I feel like that's kind of the phrase that went into my head a bit when you were talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a better connector, if I was a better people person, I would love, that's why I love playing live shows. Because I love what music can do in terms of getting people in a room together to focus on something, which like sports does that too. But I think music also has a very innate power to heal and music is more powerful in sports. It's different from sports in that like it sound physically alters or it bounces off of our cells and our beings outside of the physical world. So these things I am honored to like attend. I love feeling sad. I listen to music so loud in my car because it's like, but only like good music, and I love listening like really positive but not corny music in my car because my body just feels great. Like sound healing is a thing. Vibrations is a thing. So if we can put people in one place in a community space, like multiple people, community healing, that's powerful. Everyone's thinking about this one, positive thing or this great idea, and everyone's just listening to this song about this idea. Then you're gonna go and you're gonna talk to somebody. The doctor is gonna talk to this person about it. Boom, 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 boom. And then boom, we just found a solution. And so if the live music and the shows can be a connection for that, then that's great. That's, to me, that's purposeful. That's not just me coming and playing and getting a paycheck and then me hoping you show up so you can pay a ticket and like I can go home and spend that on nachos at Shakespeare's. It's like, all right, what are we here for? To me, when I think about doing music, it's not just to kind of like beat off and like prove that I'm the best cellist or prove that I'm the best songwriter, do whatever. It's like, what is the purpose of being on this planet? There's nothing besides us, besides our ideas and like what we choose to connect with. And am I on the planet to just try and be the best? And yes, I want to perform at a high level, or am I on this planet to like experience as much joy as possible and hopefully try and understand how someone else is experiencing this as well and try and understand the truth of what something is. And if I understand that the society is so, we're at a sick point, right? Everyone's a little bit in harm's way and a little bit sickly, then our main purpose, our sole focus right now should be healing and figuring out what direction we need to go in. And to me, in the world where we're kind of separated, because the internet is kind of pulling us apart, our ideals are pulling us apart, all the things, it's like, hey man, if we can be in a show and in communal healing, that's purposeful to me. If we can figure that out, that's me doing my part. And if I need to eat ramen noodles, then I'll do that. And so the community, if I was a better people person, I would really love to be able to bring people together and then just present sounds for them to listen and commune with. And that is why I would like to, cause that's what the cello gives to me. That's what I hear when I hear the cello.
Mm.
It's like, okay, you can hear this sound and get something from it. That's not telling you to go kill someone. That's cool. Or not telling you to go eat that food. It's telling you to go and sleep if you need sleep. So
I really like the idea of using that, going back to that communal healing idea and being more intentional in those shared music spaces.
yeah.
And I think that if more people looked at it like that, it would be more impactful for sure.
Yeah. It can be very impactful, and just the intentions have to be around it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no shame to like entertainment, right? Because music doesn't have to always be just for that. There's a whole entertainment business out here that people just like to go see, get entertained. That's cool, and maybe that might heal you on some way, but it can be so much more. So, and I know several musicians that do it. I'm like, oh wow, you created a whole community, like Seth Bernard, right? See, and I'm like, wow, people are coming to just experience their community for a little while, and your music, and then they're coming up with different ideas that help them go out and do like a lot of other jobs that are so important for the world. Like you have just something so simple like an architect. So this architect is next to someone who is in a wheelchair and has disabilities, physical disabilities. So now y'all experiencing the same music. So when he goes or when she goes to make this building the next time, they're going to be thinking about this person that they had the concert in. And now this building is going to be way more accessible. It's like music camp when I went. It's like, oh, we're all here to focus on this music. But it's a lot of lives from different backgrounds. But we can all get behind this idea. So now I'm thinking about the world from a lot of different perspectives. Because I know that a lot of different perspectives appreciate this thing. And I can relate to them through that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great thing. But on top of that, the sounds itself can do so much for you. If I'm not saying the words, do drugs, drink, only sex. All you saying, if I'm not giving you harmful words, if I'm not giving you harmful sounds, like I'm not putting a lot of gunshots in my music, I'm not putting a lot of police sirens in my music all the time. Those are harmful sounds to the psyche. And whether or not you're consciously experiencing that or subconsciously experiencing that, it's affecting you. And if I'm giving you peaceful sounds like nature sounds, right, and I know nature is a great teacher, then nature can do its work.
Mm-hmm. Kind of last couple questions here around thinking about whether you view creating music and playing music as like a spiritual experience for you, or if you see it differently from that.
Spiritual, 100%. 100%. 100%. Now, when I'm broke and I don't have anything, because music is my main thing, okay, maybe I might go on stage and I'm not thinking about that spiritually. But I know when I'm playing cello, I connect to my cello. It's a spiritual thing. That's the only way I'm able to even get this far. It's a spiritual thing, 100%. I don't present it that way, because I don't subscribe that everyone needs to also subscribe to me thinking it's a spiritual thing, but it is. Yeah.
And how has being a musician, an artist, changed the way that you view yourself?
To me, there's two sides of that. Mostly, like the way I view myself influences the art. But the way, like, when it's gone good back on itself, like experiencing myself as an artist in society, it affects me to really contemplate intention and ask about my why. Because you gotta ask yourself why you're doing something that is not a common path, or that is not like, not that being an artist in the U.S. is uncommon. Oh, a shit ton of people try to be artists in the U.S. Not that that's uncommon, but like when I'm choosing to do something that has to have like a lot of restructuring, like you have to just structure your own pathway for something, you gotta know why. You gotta, because you'll run out of energy. You gotta have a direction pulling towards. And then it makes me think about whether or not I'm running towards something, or I'm running from something. So, am I just running from the 9 to 5? Right? Am I just running from the idea of conforming? Am I just running from the idea of me putting down my cello and, you know, not playing it consistently? Or am I running towards the idea of these, you know, collective healing, being around my friends, making sounds, finding a way to be able to navigate the world without using the same, or navigate society without using the same, like, harmful practices that have already been set up. Like, do I have to become a miner in order to create a valuable contribution to society? Do I have to excavate the forest? Do I have to eat all of these animals? Do I have to do all these things? And so it's coming up with these creative ways. Why am I moving towards this? So that's how the artist makes me think about myself. And then it just kind of goes like this.
I think I was planning on asking about how being an artist changed the way that you view or that you intake information, I guess.
Yeah. And you know, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely not the most learned man out there, especially when it comes to like, just like all different types of topics. And some of the artists that I interact with, man, some of the musicians, they're so informed about other like visual artists and dancers and styles and stuff. And I'm like, man, y'all just really know that's amazing. I'm not that type of artist. I'm that type of artist that's like, kind of just like the simple. I'm just involved in my scope. Like I have blinders on, which is I think more so a curse than a blessing, but could be a blessing. It's like, yeah, you know. So that's the artist kind of influences me to focus on. Like, okay, what am I experiencing? What is my experience? And then from that truth, for me getting condensed enough in this, maybe someone can uniquely find themselves relatable to this experience, and they can find that in my art. But yeah, being an artist would definitely just try and pull me to like learn about a lot more things, which I still am. I'm very curious, but I don't remember half of the stuff I learned, which is a problem.
Kind of a weird question, but how closely do you pay attention to sounds in your day-to-day life?
I love sound. Yeah. I mean, I'm listening to the construction trucks go down. Can't really hear any birds, or like listen to any of the stuff. But even then, when I'm looking at it, I'm imagining the sound. You know. I've heard a few things move around in here. Like that. Yeah. No, I love sound. So one thing, like, you can't not hear sound. Right? Things are always, you can never, like the quiet space, it's an illusion. I would pay money. I would actually pay money to go into the chamber inside of like I think NASA has one, and it's like air seals, and it's like supposed to be completely silent, like in space. I would love to hear that, but then even then, you hear your own heartbeat.
Inescapable.
It's crazy. If you really think about it, you can never go and hear a silent moment in your lifetime. And that, like, not that I want a silent moment. I love sound, but it's like I want to hear the silent moment. It's like I want to know what's on the other side. What is that like to not hear a fucking thing? I think we would go crazy. I think we would go absolutely insane, and like, I think it's hours we would go insane if we had to be in that chamber and not hear anything. I wonder what the psychology on that sign, if there's any tests that have ever been done. But silence, yeah, that's the thing, and that also is an inspiring moment in music. Do you know the moment where you listen to a song and immediately after it's like,
Yeah.
that moment is a silent moment, even though it's not silent, right? But you got crowds of people just listening to a song, and then everyone knows they're supposed to clap. Everyone knows they just enjoyed this moment, and then they all still want to just be like, and everyone claps at the same time. That's a crazy moment. Like, what makes people not make a sound, right? Like when the eclipse happens. Like, I think there's like a bunch of birds, a bunch of animals that just didn't make sound, or got like really quiet or something. Why is that? When do we choose to create spaces in sound, or spaces in time that have no sound? That's the important part to me. The silence, which yeah.
I think one thing that's been kind of like trickling in is I'm thinking about Pauline Oliveros and deep listening, which is like paying attention to every sound that you can consistently is like a form of meditation.
Yeah.
And kind of like what you were talking about with some of your goals for your music is feeling more grounded, leaving people with a more peaceful feeling. And I'm just kind of like connecting those things in my head.
Yeah. Those are my intentions with it. You know, whether or not people will get it from my music, I'm not necessarily attached to, but that's my intention for like putting music out in the world. That's the main reason I feel it's worth it. Because if I was just doing it kind of get famous and get money, it's like I become a day trader. Matter of fact, I would be less than that. I would be a contractor or something. I would do something like within the trades, you know, and not actively think about it. But, yeah.
Do you have anything else that you want to say about the music that you make, the lasting impact you want it to have?
I'm drawing a blank. Maybe. I was gonna say I hope you like it. Yeah, I hope you like it enough to find some peace of mind and share it with a friend, and have you both and a few of you all share some pieces of mind and connect over it. I hope it makes people connect in the way that makes you challenge the norm, like challenge the ability or challenge the mindset that you have to do something a certain way just because it's been done before. just because it's easy to do doesn't mean that it's always the right way, and doesn't mean that you can't find an easier way for the people in the future. The way I said that was mad confusing, but I hope it encourages people on their journey of trailblazing and finding peace amongst community. Yeah.
Like to encourage people to listen to Project Freedom.
Oh yeah, you can listen to any of the music. Yeah, listen to Project Freedom, listen to JNO, listen to Tri Magi, listen to Vibrations, listen to Believe In, listen to For Renland. I would say never listen to My Thoughts Are, but I'll get beat up. Listen to My Thoughts Are. Listen to Better Days. All of these things are, especially the first EPs and first singles, are like me. Better Days was my first song ever, right? So you can hear like growth in my thing. And there's two ways I would go about it. I would like release it when I feel like I'm ready, or I would release it along the way and people can see the journey. So I chose the latter. And I regret it in some ways. I don't regret it in others. So, yeah, check out all those. And listen to Last Gasp Collective. Listen to Seth Bernard. Listen to The Lasso. You know, listen to all these Sasquatch and Bridge Brand. Yeah. And
then you got a show coming up it's the 26th with Yusuf Days.
Oh yeah, June 26th with Yusuf Days. Yup. Clutch. Big inspiration. So that's great. He's coming to Kalamazoo. I'm excited and honored that I'll be able to share some music just before him and his band play. And yeah, that's it. Well, I have a few other concerts too, but that's that. And then Trevor City Dance Project, where some great ballet dancers and modern dancers are going to be choreographing and dancing to some of the songs from Project Freedom. One of the things I look forward to the most over the summer. Going to the beach and playing with Trevor City Dance Project. Yeah, and having a couple cocktails after. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's great.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you.
Of course.